Alive as Wives. And we're back. Good job, Kisha.
I'm so happy to be back.
Me too. Back from Thanksgiving break. Ready for the next thing.
The next break.
The next break. I don't know you follow him too.
I don't. This is your page.
Oh. Okay. Right. Why are we scrolling social media? Why am I caring?
I honestly thought what I was clicking was me going to look at our Instagram page to see if anybody answered our frequently asked question.
Ooh, and what question was that?
When are ultimatums appropriate in a relationship?
Okay, so that goes along with our last episode where we dissected the idea of ultimatums in a relationship. So if you didn't listen to that one, please go back and listen. That one was some nuggets of knowledge for y'all.
Oh, you sounded like me.
I think that we were so very transparent. Don't you? Okay, so y'all know I have words, right? The words.
You do.
So, Alicia's sister always talks about Christianese and how people have like the Christian culture, and there's certain words that are associated with that. And I feel like transparent is one of those.
Really?
When people are the word I was talking about.
Yes, I was like, Lord,
was
please help us remember what you're talking about. Okay, go.
Was transparent.
Yes, people kill that. It's too much now. I don't like it.
And I feel
if you say you're gonna be transparent, I think you lying.
Or they'll say something and they'll be like, "I'm just being transparent."
What? Okay,
Does has that replaced I'm just keeping it real?
Or I'm just gonna keep it 100. I'm being transparent.
I don't like the 100. I don't like the keeping it real. And I'm guessing
Hey, on everything. That was the other one.
On my mama.
On everything. That was the other thing that everybody always said.
So the Christianese version of all that is I'm just being transparent. So that's permission for you. But I also feel like sometimes it's appropriate. Like when you're being transparent and you're talking about your struggles and your life, that's one thing. But if you're being transparent about somebody else...
or how you feel about someone else. Again, it turns into another excuse to be rude. I don't like it. I'm just going to keep it. And it is, I've seen it, I've heard it used as trying to seem overly authentic.
Yeah.
And then you already know what's coming next is about to be.
It's just really some shade.
Something
It's shady. But, I feel like our last episode, we really were very transparent.
We were very honest. We're speaking from our personal experiences.
And and I feel like for me, saying that means airing kind of some dirty laundry, not so pretty packages that we are, because, we want to be able to be real. Keep it 100 and be transparent or whatever. We just want to make sure that, our stories are legitimate and that we're not trying to paint the picture that we're these perfect people.
Well, here's the thing. In marriage, we have enough of that, and that's one of our passions for doing the marriage retreats and doing this podcast and having, honest groups of friends because, of course, we always hear the Disney equivalent to marriage. You think it's going to be a fairy tale and all these things. And the advice that I give to any new married couple, which I just said this to Brittany's friend the other day, just make sure that you're surrounded by somebody that's going to be honest with you, because otherwise you'll sit around and you'll be thinking it's only you.
Yeah, my Cherie always talks about that. She thought she had to be the Cosby family and put on. And even if you look back at the Cosbys, they really weren't perfect.
No.
So I don't even know what our idea of what it's supposed to be. But
it's almost like the social media pressure. Like we see all these, we see the highlight reel of other people's lives. Or of course we only see the key and the ha when we're out like with friends. Yeah. But we do pride ourselves on being honest and open about what our marriage adventure has been,
right?
Because it's definitely different seasons. It's definitely things that we look back on like, we were trippy. So I do like that we are able to authentically present our experiences. I'm trying to change up transparent, but like we do try to have transparency in our discussions, and we hope to create an environment where y'all can hear our stories and say, oh my gosh, okay, they made it through it, or they did that and they turned out all right.
And so on that note, I have a moment to share with you.
Lord, I don't know what it's about to be.
So, backstory, we took our kids to Paris and London over Thanksgiving. It was great. It was a surprise. It was super cute, and we got to capture a lot of those little moments and stuff, and that was fun. That's not what this is about. So we're navigating the streets of Paris because you guys know, if you've been listening, I like to take on the places and the things, and I was Japanese, and
y'all know she like to try to act like she from the area, Lord.
I was Chicago.
She is so anti-tourist.
I was Jamaican. I just really love to just embrace the place. So yes, went in Pelly.
Where you go?
Pelly. With my R to the back, not to the front. We don't roll our R's, we take it back. So, sipping Dom Perignon. I'm so sorry. It's the worst accent ever. The French teacher at my school was like, why is your face looking like that when you say bonjour? She's like, without the expression. French people aren't happy.
Do it for the camera how you were doing.
Bonjour!
And please show us how you were supposed to do it.
Bonjour. She said French people don't care, and they don't, which I loved. I almost low-key feel like they're the closest thing to black, and she said that too. They definitely have a vibe,
a swag.
It's a swag, the fashion, the vibe, the attitude, all of it was okay, yeah, we doing that, yeah. So anyways,
I digress.
We were navigating the streets of Paris, and
I just feel like you about to choke every time you say Paris.
And GPS was great. So there were four of us.
Nice.
Right.
We didn't have that when we went.
There were four of us, so 2 kids, 2 adults. So each of us had a kid with us at all times, on site, because we can't walk 4 across on the sidewalk. We would get knocked out because they like to walk straight ahead, which we learned. But so don't know. We've never been there before, so we don't know exactly where we're going. And my husband decides that he wants to walk behind me and give directions.
I already see. I'm so sorry. I just know y'all so well. I'm so sorry for laughing because I already know.
First of all, I want you guys to visualize yourself being led from behind in a country you've never been to. What is the feelings that you're getting? What is the sensations that you're receiving? How exactly does one receive direction and navigation from behind them? A horse in a carriage, perhaps. So, okay.
I just get a feeling of a backseat driver or
Because a backseat driver doesn't have they have the same. They
the same vantage.
The person driving still has control.
True. You're right.
So, okay. Walking. So, I just say, hey, how about I get the phone? Because, okay, so if you know my husband like you do, people really don't. He is the reason I love him so much is that he cares about security to the max. And, some people in the French group on Facebook said, look out for pickpockets. So he was like, we're not going to be walking around with our phones out. I'm going to hold all the money. Like his dream is, have all the things, which was okay. So, I get it that he wanted to make sure that both of us didn't have our phones out.
Right. Somebody with their head up.
Right. And so I was like, well, I'm in the front. How about you go ahead and hand me your phone that already had the GPS going so I could go ahead and look at the turns and all that. No. I need to have that. So I'm like, okay. So we went some more blocks and it was kind of ridiculous. It was like, where are we going? Like what direction? Where are we? Each corner is like where, who, straight, right, left. Like it was very frustrating for me, who we already know in the last episode we talked about control and all that. So I lost it.
Oh gosh.
On the streets of Pelly.
Oh gosh.
Okay. Rue de Villa. I don't know the street. Duplo. It was the Duplo exit of the metro. Anyways, I lost it. I was like, I don't think this is efficient. I don't know where we're going and you're not telling me ahead of time. And this is, why don't you just get in front? No, you need to go in front. I lost it. Okay. The kids were there, everything. We were close to the hotel, went to the hotel. And I mean, the kids had a separate room, but they were in our room at the time when I brought it up because I was like, I feel like they need to hear it. They need to hear us.
Navigate through. And that is healthy. We've had that discussion before.
That is actually a healthy thing to do, is to show the argument and also show the working through it. Because so many couples argue in front of their kids on accident, whatever, and then the kids never actually see the reconciliation and the resolution. So it's
or people argue behind closed doors.
Yeah, and so then the kids are raised thinking like they
never argue.
Yeah, so like there's no way. The personalities that we have, there's no way we would be able to hide anything from our kids because we definitely like go at it. Like not crazy, but we definitely have communicate, like all that. We work through it.
You have the things that humans have.
Humans.
Right.
Yes, humans. Humans with similar personality types. Yes. So anyways, we go back to the room and I'm like, listen, I'm sorry I blew up in the streets of Pelly. But, I feel like it's important for the person in the front, whoever it is, to have the GPS. And then he tells me, I think that's a control issue you have to work through.
Pot calling the...
I almost fell out of my chair because, number one, and I didn't say this to him, I said, I just had to shut my mouth. I was like, noticed the kids were watching and all of that. But it was something I wanted to bring up because I couldn't really hold it in because I felt like as a woman, I think I have this little battle between being submissive and being like run over. And that's my own issue. And that's true.
I think that's a lot of women's strong, who have been raised to be independent. I think that is a lot of our issues. I mean,
and especially like I don't even feel that way when I'm just with him, but in front of my kids, like I don't want them to get the idea that it's okay to always get your way, or it's okay. You know what I mean? Like I don't. So especially my daughter, for some reason, I just feel like in front of her, I gotta be brave. I gotta be braver. I gotta be more bold. I gotta like show her that it's not only one way. Like you can have a voice. So I'm really trying to, right at this point in her age, she's 11. I'm trying to really show her a good balance of a woman who is strong, but also a woman who is submissive to her husband.
Right.
So that was in the picture.
I kind of go through that though with my 10-year-old. I definitely she'll be like, we need to ask daddy. And some days I will be like, no, you don't. We can do this. Come on, let's knock it out. And then sometimes it is like, okay, girl. Yeah, this your daddy thing. Or then I'll say, you see, we didn't even need daddy for this. Like it is something to navigate through because you want to definitely show them, the respect that you would have for your husband / their daddy. But then at the same time, it's like, hey, some days he won't be here. So we got to try to work it out with or without him.
And you don't want to paint the picture that it's only his word. Like it is a conversation that leads to a final word, which is an agreement, but it's not only he trumps everything. Because as a submissive wife, that's not how that works anyways. People have that misunderstood. So that's another topic we don't talk about. But anyways, so yeah, I was feeling a little froggy and jumped, and that's okay with the frog legs in in France. Okay. But it was very interesting that I still had my mask cracked when he returned it to me saying it was my control issues, because I was like, okay, this is going to be the turning point of this trip. If I take this and run and go the heck off like I was feeling inside, nobody was going to get any sleep. No one was going to have a good time. It would be a couple more apologies to do. So I was just like, okay. I said, well, let's work out a solution. Like, I just had to switch the solution because I was like, literally, we're over here talking about how we are. I'm not about to call him a control freak. He knows it. And I don't think it's something that he and I have ever really talked about with each other. So for him to be like, oh, that's a control thing you need to let go of. I was like, But the funny thing is that I did that was like, was after that, I was very deliberate about every corner. I would be like, oh my gosh, which way are we supposed to go now? And then I went to the next one and was like, left or right? Like, I just was very over and up. And then Alicia was like, she would have just started busting rights and lefts and just acting like she knew where she was going. Which could have been funny also, but also not safe. So I think, and eventually, you know what? We switched places. It turned into a flow. But this was the very beginning of the trip. Yeah. So I think he was all worked up and all worried about this. And he's like, I know you want to take selfies. I know you want to be out here taking pictures. I'm just going to free up your phone to do that. You don't got to have the GPS. And then one time I was even tricky. Like, I put the GPS on my phone and then handed it to him. And then I had it on my watch. He don't even know that. So anyways, I think my lesson was just like, okay, it's not that serious. And I talked to Missy about it. Like just yesterday, I was like, what did you think about that scene I caused in Paris? She was like, I just think that it wasn't that important to like be on the streets screaming and having a fit. And I said, but how many times have you seen me do that in your life? She was like, oh, not that much. I never really saw that. So I was like, okay. And I was like, well, I just feel like my voice was being heard. And I was like, I kind of, was inappropriate in that. But at the time, it was my go. And she's like, oh. And I was like, I've seen that with you a lot.
Look at you. Leave her out of it. Don't be bringing her in.
But she stays on go. So I was just wondering if she was like, go mommy, because that's my jam, or that's not right.
Oh, got you.
So she felt like it probably was inappropriate for me. And I was like, well, I said, and then I did have to reiterate, like, me and daddy have to talk through things. And I'm happy you guys were in the room to see us talk through it, and we had a great trip in spite of any of these little things that we were going through. Like, we're a stronger family because of it. And she was like, yeah, it was fine after that, but yeah, it was good. So she wasn't even really paying attention to it. So I think I needed to hear kind of that Because remember, I was telling you, I was feeling froggy because I was like, y'all, you're not going to check me in front of my kids about if I know how to walk. I've been to Japan by myself. Like, it's just like, I can do it. And I also feel a little bit like I never want to be in the place where I need someone to show me how to, like, I need to, because he spoils us. Like, he does so much. But I'm like, let me check that and make sure that I'm still able to do what I want, and I'm not like just too comfortable, so comfortable that I could never do it by myself. So
I definitely think you are in touch with yourself on that, because I can tell that you really do go through that. And then I'm like, oh, child, if you want to do it, I'll go ahead and do it, honey. But we talked about how that's Southern versus, and it's kind of like what the name of the show, Sweet Tea and Sunshine. That's Sweet Tea, I'm Southern. And then, you know, and that's kind of what drew us together, that those opposites. I'm like, oh my gosh, your husband wants to pay for you to get your hair done. Let him. Like, it was such a Southern, it's such a Southern endearment, I think.
And, right. And that's what, like, how his dad treats his mom. Remember, we were talking about just looking at those relationships. And it is very, it's like, she's definitely a delicate flower. And
have we talked about that?
But I don't want to lose my edge. Like, I don't want to lose that I can do it.
And I get what you're saying, because I noticed when I got married, because me and my friends used to rip and run all through Atlanta all the time by ourselves, hit the streets, whatever, didn't care. And then when I got married, we were together so much. I was almost like, dang, do I even know how to drive on the interstate? Like, wait a minute, who is this person? Like, this was in the streets. Kisha, like, not to say I wouldn't do anything wrong, but like going where I want to go, when I want to do it. And
my kids even told me one time when they were small, like, oh, we don't never see you drive.
Oh, you went through that too?
And I was like, I drive y'all all summer long. It's just me and them. So I don't know where, like, so I don't know. And it's a pride, ego, control, like all those things balled up in one, and that's great. But I also feel like it is important for us, especially with our daughters, to like, they are capable. They don't need a man to do all that stuff, because it's nice to have a man to do that, but I don't want them to grow up and be like, my mama couldn't do nothing.
And it could, and it is fresh. I mean, like, for instance, my mama, her dream, just staying on the Atlanta driving thing, like, her dream was always that me and my sister knew how to get around and go where we wanted to go, because she always, if she wants to go anywhere, she has to wait on me to be available, my husband to be available, or my dad, because she doesn't drive on the interstate.
Why?
Just, I think trauma from her she had a very bad car accident very early on in her life, where it like broke her whole leg and blah, blah, blah. Like, she was young. So,
I get that.
But I do know that even from a husband's perspective, no matter how much he likes to take that role, if you start acting completely helpless or like completely like you can't ever drive or completely, I know that for my husband, that is frustrating to him.
So do you drive when the family's in the car?
Yeah.
I see. I never do.
I can. Like, I have. It's not often.
Yeah, I have. Like, one time I hopped in the driver's seat before he came out. And I was like, I'm driving today. I'm going to treat you. And then, like, I drove. And then he was
eventually
like,
took it.
Yeah. He just doesn't.
Same.
And I don't care to be driving. Like, let me clear that up. Like, that's not my fun time.
No.
But I also had to like give up passing judgment on like wives that drive husbands, because I feel like
I used to do that.
Because my dad always drove my mom like that.
Mine too.
And that didn't make me feel like my mom wasn't independent, because she sure
either.
was.
But me either.
I just knew that was all I've seen. But there was a family in the car. The man is driving and the woman is sitting.
Yeah, that's what I was exposed
so I was
to.
like, I remember I had friends. I have a close friend who always wants to drive. She was like, driving's fun. But I used to be like judging her in my mind, like, ugh,
oh gosh, me too.
How dare you? How
and
dare
then
he
I used
you?
to feel and I used to feel like our friend was like always using her as the chauffeur, and I was like, bump that, let her rest. Like, I don't know what I don't know why I was so mad about it, but I'm like,
I feel like that's one of those gentleman things. Like opening the door, like walking on the right side of the street.
Look at you, Southern girl.
Well, I was raised right. I don't know. I was raised Southern, but
no, but seriously.
There's certain rules that I feel like, okay, we pay attention to.
I agree.
To see if they're being taken care of. And so I was mad at him because I'm like, how dare he? Like, that's not taking care of her, making her drive.
I felt the same way. Like, oh, she got to sit around here and drive you around because you're the one making I don't know. Like, I did.
But what about TLC? Sitting on the passenger side of the best friend's ride,
trying to holler at me. That's not the same.
It's still a passenger side.
Not the same. It's us riding.
It's a scrub.
Or the friends riding.
But he's a
together.
Scrub on the passenger side.
Oh, because he's on the passenger side. So you were seeing the guy's a scrub. I get it. Y'all get it now?
Even though it's... Shut up.
I didn't get it. I didn't get it at first.
Even though it's not the same situation,
I
still felt like, ew, you on the passenger side. So like you ain't got no control of any situation. You just over here letting her drive the whole ship.
I agree, though. I get what you're saying.
No judgment, because now I don't feel like that anymore. There's all kind of situations that can lead to while you're driving. Like, I've heard them all. But...
yeah, no, I completely get what you're saying, though. And it was so funny as we were talking, we'll have to remember to talk about family traditions and roles and what we've been exposed to and how that shaped our expectations.
Oh my gosh.
I love that topic because it's so funny. It's the smallest things, like what we just gave the example of. That is so small. Mm-hmm. But in a marriage situation, if the husband came from a family where the mama drove all the time, or he was only with his mom because his dad wasn't there, and then here comes the wife bebopping along and the daddy always drove, but the husband always saw his mama driving, that is a conflict out the gate that you don't even predict.
And so many emotions would go along with it. Like, how dare you disrespect me? And he's thinking like, I'm letting her drive because I think it's fun, or my mom loves it.
Or the strong women drove in my family. Mm-hmm. Like could have been something positive, but here you are looking like, oh my gosh, you're not taking my stars. You're not taking care of me. Like, seriously, it could turn into that. It's so quickly.
So could. And there's a list of things I've already collected in these amount of years that I'm like, ooh, like the things that we had to work through.
Yes.
In counseling, all the different things. I'm like,
yes, us too.
Ooh, Lord, why am I looking at like this is not even relevant at this point. But back then, that stuff used to be.
It used to matter so
grind my gears, but
much.
So the next time we go out of the country,
you're gonna let him navigate from behind.
We'll have a plan. I just didn't realize his mind was thinking like, I need to see everybody and then I need to be directing everybody from the back. Yeah. Like, it's just, so it's hilarious. I really want to know about y'all's visualizations of how that even works. And I mean, horses are amazing to be able to just run. They be sprinting.
If you don't quit, you just quit.
The horse be just running as fast as can be. How do they know where to go?
It's
I mean, apparently, Clydesdales is what they used to call me. With the nice shoes and the little fur on the bottom.
I'm so glad y'all made it through that. Paris streets. They have a habit of trying to break up marriages, even brand new ones that are only 2 weeks old. We're not going to talk about that, though.
I didn't know I don't know if I know the details, but I did not even want to bring up an argument about directions in Paris without being in person with you. So I had to share that because I was like, girl.
So long story short, because and that shows, we were just talking about how silly arguments can be. Mm-hmm. I can't even remember the details.
That deliverance, girl.
I bet my husband can remember. All I know is he ticked me off. It had to do with directions. And
before GPS and phones.
Yes, it was not like that. It was early 2000s and
dial up.
Oh my gosh, for sure.
Not dial up.
Wait, what's the thing you have to get to call long distance?
Oh, the calling card?
Yes, it's calling card days. And so, or was it roaming? Yeah, calling card / roaming, like on your cell phone, big time costing thousands of dollars
so you
to
had
call.
An MAP, a map. And
a whole map. So
I heard he memorized the whole thing.
He did. That was London though, but in Paris, he did something where he was acting cocky, like he knew everything. That's what I do remember. And if you're my friend, you know this hidden secret about me. I don't have a good sense of direction it's bad. I get turned around so easily. He knew that about me. I didn't care. I was like, I'll show you, Joker, in Paris, in another whole country, Ninja. Across seas. And I walked away from him in Paris because I was that pride and that ego was so big.
Without a GPS.
Without a GPS, I risked being lost and abducted.
And pickpocketed and taken because
murdered.
That's where that happened.
All the things in Paris because I was so mad at him. My pride was so huge that I was like, I'll show you. I'm walking away. And I literally walked away from that man in a whole nother country.
Is that equivalent to when you tell them to pull the car over so you can get out?
Did you do that?
Nope.
Yes, you have.
I've wanted to plenty of times.
My mother-in-law did that to her husband.
Did he drive off? I've heard all kinds of stories. I've heard stories because I don't know how many of you have tried this before. I don't recommend it. But I've heard of many different occasions of women saying that to their boyfriend or whatever. Pull over, let me out.
I've never done that.
I've never done that, but I've heard of someone doing that and then he just drove off.
And then she was looking stupid, probably. Okay, so let me be honest. Let me be so transparent right now about Paris, okay?
Okay.
So the whole time when I walked off, I was praying that he was watching me or following me.
Of course.
I was like, Lord, please. And he, on the other end of it, was like, he was like, boy, if I lose this girl in Paris, her daddy gonna kill me. Because we had only been married 2 weeks. And so, thankfully, he was there. He was like, he stepped up on me. Y'all, I was going in circles. I didn't know where I was going.
Like this.
He was literally.
You know they love roundabouts in Europe. You was walking around a roundabout with the statue in the middle.
Quite possibly. Not gonna deny it. Could be not.
Oh, Lord.
But, yeah, so Paris, those Paris streets, all the beauty, all the romance.
All the love.
You know, over there like Pepe Le Pew.
Wee wee.
Yes. Still got us in our feelings and acting up. Girl. So we had our moment in the streets of Paris, in those mean streets of Paris, where we definitely had a conflict. But it
was a cool moment though. I feel like traveling with your spouse and kids, that was a whole. I loved it. Would do it again in a heartbeat. They were the perfect age. But the only thing that I did miss was the one-on-one time that we would have had in the city of love.
Yeah, that was after we got over me walking off from him, acting like I was about to go do something with it. That was very fun. And like you said, your kids are at the age, but it was definitely all, we were there by ourselves, so we didn't have kids yet.
Yeah, you could wild out.
We were, yeah. And so I do look forward to the time that we get to take them too, though. So that's exciting that you got to have fun with it.
It was cool. They got to see the Mona Lisa. She was small.
She was so small, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They weren't acting funny about y'all taking pictures at this point, though, right?
They, you know me. They had the line. I was like, we can just walk right over here. We're taller than everybody.
That's what we did.
We can just lean
to
up,
the side,
take the picture, and then they're like, Mademoiselle, move in French. And we were like, we got it already. The kids had their selfies, and then we moved on. Like, it was fine.
Yeah.
I don't even think Mona Lisa was my favorite part of the whole museum. Like, my favorite part was the Grecian statues, and I was just like, oh, like overwhelmed. Museums in the United States, I feel like they have glass up and you don't have access like that. Mm-hmm. Girl, how about that boy of mine?
Oh no.
Leaning. I was like, get off. No. Like, you can't touch it. And he's like, oh yeah. Well, like, he had to be reminded because it was so accessible, like all that. I was like, ooh.
Oh no. I didn't even think of that.
Could you imagine?
No.
The statue of David or something like something crazy. So anyways, that was the thing. I was like, we're real close to all these really authentic paintings and sculptures, and it's cool.
Yeah, it was nice. It was fun.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite parts. We love museums though.
I'm sad. I want to go back because I want to go to like kids can only take like one day of museum. They cannot be like, we're going to museum every single weekend day of the field. So we went to the Louvre, but there were so many other museums. I was like, oh, I wanted to go there and there and there. And there was so many. So I want to go back and just like look at some of that stuff too.
Yeah, when I was looking at y'all on the pictures, I was like, ugh, we need to be back in Chicago, just us. Like, ugh, kids.
They were so fun. They tried all the foods.
Great.
Like, they definitely. It was past time though, because I've been on a time clock, so they needed to be getting their stamps, and they did. So now they're all ready to go move over there.
That's good though. That exposure is very important.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
we stay home for the holidays. That's my Thanksgiving. The end.
Y'all were doing a whole bunch of
things. It was
things.
fun, but like, yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like, we actually were still, and we're gonna be still for Christmas as well. So we're very excited.
Yeah,
we've not been still for Christmas in 7 years.
Yeah, that's true, because y'all do Disney
every year. Mm-hmm. So
that I'm happy about that.
Being still has actually been nice for us. This holiday season, we didn't even do a lot of Atlanta running. Like, we usually run into Atlanta a lot too, but we didn't even do that a lot this time. I let the girls have people over to spend the night.
Oh.
We put our tree up. Well, the tree was already up. We decorated it for real. And
did you do any do you do Black Friday stuff?
We didn't even go out for Black Friday. We were so still. Like, seriously, it was completely centered around being at home.
Yeah.
And we rarely do that, and I really appreciate it. So
yeah, I'm happy that you were able to do that.
Because you know,
all over. And I was feeling like there's a lot of peace going into this Christmas. Like, after taking that trip, I was like, okay, so, you know, we're on this whole trips over gifts, trips not gifts thing. So I really don't feel any stress. Like, I don't feel like, let me run over here and run over there and, you know, collect all. And I think this is probably the first year that he and I are on the same page with that, because he's always wanted to, like, Black Friday, like all this stuff. And I'm like, okay. But we finally got on the same page. Like, and our kids are older now too. They don't care about them little army men and boas and whatever it was, the little teeny things, and a whole bunch of little things. So I think, you know, even Black Friday, we came back on Thanksgiving, but on Black Friday, I was almost like, I don't even know. There's nothing I want. And even the kids were like, they were fine. There was nothing that they were hollering about or consumer wanting to buy. So I really hope that continues. on its course, and that it can be kind of a yearly, like that we don't have to be buying stuff because.
Yeah, I really do like that too. I love the setting of a family tradition. And I've even been talking to my family about trying to plant the seeds of that mentality. I said, y'all, you know, Ainsley and Brooklyn love going to the movies. Why don't you get one of those Regal cinema passes where they can go for the year and go as many times as they want to? I said, that's not junking up my house. That's not killing the environment with all these freaking plastic toys we're going to just throw away.
Right. And even the idea of a gift card, because you can use it when you need it. Like,
yes.
I love
yeah, you
gift
do,
card.
girl. That's your favorite.
But my kids are starting to get to the point too where they're like, I just want a gift card. I just want money. I just want, because then they can do what they want with it. So that's
I'm definitely trying to plant seeds of experiences. I like the saying of trips over gifts. But I think that a lot of people.
But you guys have never been big. You and that doctor have never been really big on gifts. That has been like external, kind of.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
definitely, like last year, we only did 3 gifts per kid. I love it. It makes it, like you're saying, the stress is not there. I
think it makes them focus on like, what is it that you really want? So when we go to the grocery store, before we go in, I make them give me a list of the things that they think that they would want. And I'm like, and once we get in there, you can't go from that. So they can list whatever they want on that list ahead of time. But it's not about going
once
in the
they
grocery.
see it and just grab it. Oh my gosh, my kids do that.
So I told them, no, if you're thinking about it right now, that's something we're going to get. And it's work. Because they'll be like, can we get, and I'm like, no, is that on the list? Well, you weren't even thinking about that until we got in the store. Now you excited about Flaming Hot Cheetos? No. You weren't thinking about Flaming Hot Cheetos.
How did I know that's what it was?
You weren't thinking about no Takis before we got in this store. That ain't something you even like or want. That's something you see.
So trendy. Takis are so trendy.
Don't get me started on
that. Gosh, I hate those too. And I have to buy the food and snacks for our PBIS store, and I'm like,
baked Lays.
I would never feed my kids. Like, I feel convicted.
So you buy the stuff for them still? That stuff?
No, I have to do the purchase order for the school for the things that are going to be on our PBIS store and in our little concession stand. And like my kids, I don't know what they were looking at, but they saw it on the list and they were like, Mommy, no. Their little cousin that spent the night goes to my school. And she was talking about Takis being at the PBIS store. And I was like, she was like, Mommy, you let your students eat that because they already know. And I was like, girl, every time I purchase it, I almost throw up. Because I feel convicted because I don't feed my kids.
Right, I wouldn't.
Now here I am going to buy other, but that's on the list. Like that's what they tell me to make sure I get every time. Like that.
Yeah, they want it. Oh.
So whatever. But all that to say, that's teaching them to be focused and more conservative when they're going into stores. So hopefully that'll translate to their
what do you really need, or even what you want. Like, just don't be moved by commercialism and what's calling you,
and plan for it. Yeah,
right, and just plan for it, and it's all good. Like, I'm not against buying stuff. I'm just not into like just impulse buying. Like, that bothers me so much. All right, well, we got some other things. I think we might need to talk about that in the next episode.
That's a wrap.
Is there a takeaway from that?
Oh my gosh, so many takeaways. And I usually do so good typing them up as we're going. One takeaway is definitely our favorite topic about pride and ego.
Yay!
I'm telling you, man, that junk is a constant battle. You are probably going to hear that we revisit that so often.
When is it going to be over?
I know. I know, but that's just that temptation of that flesh, girl. Our flesh ain't never gonna go nowhere, child. So as long as that flesh is there, we're gonna still be talking about ego. But definitely being how and when do you let your spouse lead?
Yeah.
And definitely compromising and talking through how do you have productive conversations. We've been battling that, and I'm not even going to go into it at this moment because I know it's going to come back up. Maybe even in the next one, in our next episode.
Yeah, we definitely are going to have to circle. Boomerang back to all, because I feel like that is something that, like you said, is every single day.
Well, let's think about this. Everybody out there, what is the number one advice that you know that people give married couples? Make sure you communicate.
Finish the sentence.
Right. So everybody says that.
Yeah.
Make sure communication is key. Make sure you communicate. Like they love it. Like it's their favorite. But nobody.
And then people that's giving that advice,
they are not communicating in their marriages. Like seriously, like it is a constant battle. Like just this morning we had a conflict. And it was as simple as, we're talking about our kids a lot, but that's another factor in marriage. If you're planning on having kids, you got to figure out how to navigate through that as a team. So we are literally, my husband's like, you need to wake up the girls before you get ready. I don't like it. I want to be ready and then come up here, because if I'm already ready, at least I know that I can quickly do whatever this wake up thing is and go. If I'm not ready, I tend to, and it's earlier in the morning, I tend to sit and feel like I have more time because it's earlier. So I make the mistake of going downstairs after waking up the girls, because I stuck to the plan. And I said, see, that's why I don't like to go up there early, because I think my mind says you have more time. And that's not the truth. And he goes, well, that's on you. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. That is on me. Because I could come up here and just do a quick little wake up, everybody, and then leave.
Yeah.
Not stay and watch to see that they wake up. Not try to give them good morning hugs and kisses and Eskimo kisses and love like I do it. I do that. I'm cheesy sometimes. Maybe I shouldn't freestyle a song in the mornings. Wake up, my sweet girl. Like, I really come upstairs and make up songs sometimes. Okay, so sometimes, that's that teacher in me. Like, and now I'm from a singing family. I love it. Like, I used to make up songs in my classroom all the time. So clearly I'm going to do it for my own babies. And but that takes time. Like, all that loving and hugging.
And you are a morning person. That's why I'm rolling my eyes. I'm like, what the heck?
I'm such a morning person. I'm like,
I don't even say words to my kids. It's like, bye. That is it. Like, I'm not into doing the who. Now, when I get home, yes, I do sing songs. I'll be like, hey. Kisha, that was crazy. That's a wrap. We need to be done. Girl, let's finish this episode.
Okay. Listen, y'all hold on to that thought, because I have to tell you, it went left. The communication is key. Went left. Let me tell you, it went left so hard. And we'll tell you why on the next episode.
Oh my gosh. So, do you have questions about marriage? Is there a question that you've been wanting to ask about marriage that you have not been able to ask anyone? Or you were embarrassed to ask? You can ask us.
You really can.
We probably would go on and on and on, and you would hear all the opinions of our friends and ourselves in the responses. So feel free. Send us some questions. We definitely want to hear what you're thinking, and we definitely want to help you add to your thoughts and make whatever decisions you're trying to make. You know, we love talking, and we definitely appreciate listeners. So if you feel like this is something that you want other people to hear, share. Please share. And also, where can they find us?
At Sweet Tea and Sunshine Podcast on Instagram. That is Sweet Tea and Sunshine Podcast on Instagram. Or on our Facebook group.
And we also are on YouTube. So same name, the Sweet Tea and Sunshine Podcast.
iTunes, Spotify, all the things.
Spreaker. Wherever you find podcasts, you can find us there. Yeah.
So share it definitely if you feel like there is, if you have a friend or, a couple of friends that you think would benefit from some of the things that we're talking about, please feel free to share.
All right. Anything else?
You can, what is it? Not inbox. DM us.
Yeah.
On Instagram, your questions. Again, they are definitely, we're not going to say, Mommy Love Bug said blah, 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 blah. Like, we're just not that. Like, we will definitely
keep it anonymous.
We'll keep it anonymous. And if we don't know the answer, we'll research and figure it out.
For you.
Because all it's going to do is help us grow too.
Yeah. All right. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Bye.